The wind had died away almost altogether. It was Patton's hour of glory. Hastily, Patton's staff, plodding General Lucas, one-eyed General Gay, dashing Colonel Codman, assembled on the bridge deck, and Patton, now commanding general of the first real American army in Europe in World War II, made a little speech to the officers who would follow him over the next 2 years. "Gentlemen," he said in that curiously high-pitched voice of his, "it's now 1 minute past midnight, July 9th, 10th, 1943, and I have the honor and privilege to activate the 7th United States Army. This is the first army in history to be activated after midnight, and baptized in blood before daylight." Admiral Hewitt signaled to his flag lieutenant. In marched a smart, precise honor guard. With them they bore the U.S. Navy's gift to Patton, a brand new flag for a new army. Blue, yellow, and red silk bearing the letter A for Army. Thus, as Patton began to cry a little, the U.S. 7th Army was activated on the high seas, with the invasion of Sicily only 2.5 hours away. Observing the scene at that historic moment, Commander Britain, USN, could see the fire of pride in Patton's glistening eyes. It seemed to the naval officer that it was to him, Patton, not a ship's deck he stood upon, but a peak of glory. Now, the first American army to fight on European soil in World War II got off to a good start. The plan had envisaged the American New Boys playing the role of a mere flank guard to Bernard Montgomery's veterans of the British 8th Army. "Get your knees down, Yank!" the bronzed veterans of 2 years of desert warfare had sneered when they had first seen the pale-faced soldiers of the 7th. Patton changed all that. He wasn't going to let that little fart, Monty, relegate his new army to a sideshow. Under Patton's dynamic, aggressive leadership, the 7th surged through Sicily like shit through a goose, to use another of Patton's favorite expressions. That July, Patton's 7th Army was in the headlines all the time. Patton drives for Palermo. Patton's 7th takes Troina. The banner headlines back home screamed, "Patton takes Messina! Patton forces Sicily's surrender!" Then came tragedy. After that notorious slapping incident, Patton fell from grace, and with him his beloved 7th Army. While he brooded in his gloomy Palazzo HQ in Sicily, unit after unit of his 7th was taken from him and fed into the 5th Army of his hated rival, General Clark, in Italy. By the winter of 1943-1944, the 7th was less than 5,000 HQ troops, a mere token force. Already it seemed that the U.S. 7th Army had become America's forgotten army. It was a year before this forgotten army went into action again. Merely 3 divisions strong now, it landed off the coast of southern France in August 1944. It was a landing that the British strongly opposed as a sideshow, a weakening of Allied strength, with no real strategic purpose behind it. Indeed, British Prime Minister Churchill had once threatened to resign if it were not called off. American commanders, such as General Clark in Italy, too felt it diverted from what he believed should be the Allies' main effort, naturally in his own theater of operations. The landing was relatively unopposed. At a cost of 3,000 casualties in a month-long campaign, the 7th Army punched right through southern France to join up with Patton's 3rd in Lorraine by September. Critics of the 7th thought it had been all too easy. They called it with a sneer the Champagne Campaign. While the 7th had been going through France virtually unnoticed by the general back home, Omar Bradley's armies in the north had been hitting the headlines as they raced for the border of the Reich. The new commander of the 7th, General Alexander Sandy Patch, was indeed a brave, competent combat soldier, but he was no Patton. He had little charisma and could not